Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Unbiased Magic Reviews. Thanks so much for spending a couple of minutes with me today. I have a really quick public service message for you guys, and then I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips on the star sign divination effect if you stick with me to the end of this. So today I wanted to touch base on this question of the difference between magic reviewers and magic promoters and why you should even care about that. If you're like me, you come to YouTube, often you look for a magic review to help you to make a better informed decision about a magic product, whether or not you should pick it up. And that is the main reason why I think that there's this distinction that you should pay careful attention to, because real magic reviewers are people that they pick up a magic product, they road test it, and they give you honest feedback from their own experiences, telling you, how hard this was to perform or how easy, their own reactions that they got from their spectators, whether or not the effect really works well or if it's going to end up in their junk drawer. And that is really what we expect when we watch a magic review. And there's a stark contrast between that and what I call a magic promoter or an unboxer. These are people that are hired employees of magic companies. They are paid by getting free magic products to push them at you. They are giving you a paid advertisement of the product. Oftentimes, they don't even give you a real recommendation because they're not using it in the real world. And so all the information they're telling you is based off of speculation. If you notice, it's very superficial, and I would argue that they don't have the capacity to give you the advice that they are giving you. The main reason I decided to even make this video today was because I was watching one of these magic promoters about a week ago. They did a review on the star sign divination effect that I also reviewed recently, and some of the things they were saying were so inaccurate that it just made me cringe, and it showed me how they have no experience performing star sign divinations. So I'm going to give you guys 3 main tips how you can tell the difference between a magic reviewer and a magic promoter. And my main argument is that you really have to be careful who you listen to, especially the advice you get. Otherwise, you're going to get buyer's remorse. Like many of you who message me and put comments on my channel saying, I listened to XYZ and I bought this and it was junk, it was all hype and all of this stuff. These are the tips I'm going to give you guys. And then I'm just going to touch basically on that star sign divination idea, just to give you guys a little bit of information about that, some of my own tips, because I perform the star sign divination on the daily for years. That is why I can tell you guys my own experiences, my own advices, because I use it constantly. So let's get into those tips I'm going to give you about the difference between magic promoters and magic reviewers. So here's a couple of tips for you. Number 1, if you notice that the magic reviewer is putting out a magic review every day, like 5 a week or whatever, then you know that they're not using that stuff in the real world. That's impossible. Nobody can put out a review every day and try to claim that they have any kind of experience with that product. They're simply unboxing it, they're watching the video, and then they're giving you an advertisement of what they watched. Why? Because they never used it. So how can they really tell you any real, idea of how well this is going to play for anyone? How can they tell you how difficult this is to perform? They're not even performing it themselves, so how can they tell you that? It's all speculation is what it is. And that leads us to tip number 2, which is if you notice that the person is not doing a demo in their own hands of the effect, or they're not showing you any type of live performance of their own, that means that they're not using the product in real life. That means that, again, they have no experience with it. I don't know how they could try to give you any kind of advice because they've never probably used it. They probably unboxed it 10 minutes before they threw that video together. That's the truth probably there. So that's number 2. And the third tip I'm going to give you guys is that if you notice that they never give you a recommendation by the end of the video, that means that they are paid to give you this advertisement. If you notice that they never tell you, no, don't buy this, this is junk, this is garbage, stay away from it. If they never say that to you, it's because, why? Because they're an employee of the magic company. It is understood that they're going to push this at you. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, this is terrible. If they try to give you this week out of saying, oh, go listen to other people, well, why even bother listening to them then? That's the real truth of it, unless you just want to watch an advertisement of the magic product, right? So those are the 3 main tips I was going to give you guys about this, and it will just help you because not only are you watching advertisements, but oftentimes those people are trying to give you advice about the performance of these effects. They're not even performing them, which leads me to my main gripe about this review I saw that had to do with the star sign divination. This person was trying to argue that people don't know their own star sign, and that is laughable. People do know their own star sign. They do know how to spell it, and they 9 out of 10 times know what this symbol is. Why? Because people are interested in themselves. They care about things that are related to them. They may not know all the star signs, of course not, but they know their own because it's related to them. And of course, they know the letters that make up it, especially because you only need to know a handful of letters if you want to do a star sign anagram. I just found that is so inconsistent. It was just terrible. I mean, this reviewer was trying to make it seem that doing a star sign divination by using an anagram is a poor choice. This is coming from someone that I would bet cannot even perform a star sign divination. If you walk up to them and just said, hey, perform me a star sign divination for me, I'm willing to bet you that they probably can't do it just like that right off the cuff, right? Because why? They don't use it. They don't use it every day. They haven't used it for like every day for years like I have, which is why I'm telling you guys, you have to be careful who you listen to. Now, if you are interested in performing a star sign divination that does use an anagram, I would highly urge you to check out my review because I went over the way that I fine-tuned my own performance over years of using it, using that extra prop that literally elevates the star sign divination into the stratosphere. And the main reason is because your spectator is never, ever going to be able to have a clue how you even knew the topic of what they were thinking about, let alone their star sign. Even if you knew the topic, how would you know their star sign? But you don't even know that. And so basically, this turns this mentalism effect, the star sign divination, into like the holy grail. And I would easily rate that as one of the top 5 one-on-one mentalism effects you could ever perform for people. I've only gotten the strongest reactions from it. And again, as I said to you, don't take my word for it. Go watch my review. You can listen to my live performance. You can see the reactions that I get on the daily, which is why I'm telling you guys that you have to be careful who you listen to. Anyway, here's another couple of tips for you guys if you do a star sign anagram that you may find helpful. I've learned these over the years performing star sign divination, and so here's a couple of tips for you. Number 1, if you are going to use a star sign divination that uses an anagram, then if you do some other effect where you're going to reveal some information, reveal it in the same way by throwing out letters, but just tell the person, don't say anything out loud, just in your mind think yes or no, and you throw out some letters, and of course they're all going to be hits and it's going to be like a perfect match because you already know what they're thinking of. Then when you get to the star sign anagram, star sign divination effect, they're already going to be prepared for that because you've done it already. So it's not going to seem like a weird thing for you to throw out letters. Another tip I'm going to give you guys is don't ask questions so much as give statements. So when you say to them, you know, oh, I see that there's an A. That's all you say. It's a statement. You're not asking them. Just watch their body language. Most people, when it's not there, they're going to be very quick to say, oh, no, there's not. There's no A in my star sign. And so if they don't, that means you probably got a hit. Another thing I would argue is that you should try to focus on learning a star sign anagram that only has one negative before you know what their star sign is. And this will just really strengthen your effect because mind reading isn't perfect. And so no one expects you to be perfect. Even if you get one no answer, big deal. You're reading somebody's mind. That's like an impossible thing to do. So it's not perfect, you know, and following up with that, if you do get a negative, it's not the end of the world. And when you do know their star sign, what you should do is you should start to slowly reveal details about it before you actually tell them the whole thing. And this will just strengthen the whole presentation overall, and it will just make it seem a lot more believable. Those are a couple of tips for you guys based on years of performing the star sign divination effect. And as I mentioned to you guys, those of you who have done any kind of video chat with me, you know how I perform this because I probably performed it for you on the cuff, like right there in front of you, how to do this. So that's why I'm telling you that you can trust what I'm telling you, because I use it every day, day in, day out. It just annoys me when I see that somebody's giving advice about something that they probably know very little about, have probably no experience ever performing, and they're telling you things that are so inaccurate, it's like laughable. Anyway, that was my public service message for you guys today. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them for me below. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in to my magic reviews. I sincerely hope that these help you guys, so that way your magic doesn't end up in the junk drawer, so you're not wasting your money, and so you're getting the most out of what you pick up to perform for your spectators. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next review.